Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to take a picture that's color and looks pretty good, but to do some really neat effects on here to make it look um, a little more spectacular and a little more dramatic. And so basically what we're going to do is take the whole picture, turn it into a black and white picture, and then take the dead leaves here and bring them back in with the color. And you'll see that it'll look really neat. So what we're going to do first is I've already got done some of the adjustments here already. We talked about curves and levels before, so just highlight that up. We've already made an adjustment on the levels, so I'm going to click that in. That makes it a little bit brighter. And I've also done an adjustment on the curves with the little S shape that we talked about in the last videos, and I'll enhance that one also. So now we've got the picture, the exposure is better, lots more contrast, and it looks really good. Even as a color picture, that doesn't look too bad. But what I wanted to do was make a kind of a really neat effect. So what we've got here is we use the black and white adjustment layer. Now before I've already got this finished, and if I click this, you'll see the finished product. So what I want to do is we'll go back and we're going to select a new one here, just so I can show you what we did. So we've got the adjustment layer here is the black and white, so that's turned the whole picture into a black and white. We can make some slight adjustments here if we want. Typically, it doesn't look too bad. I'm pretty happy with that because we're looking at the background. It's not going to be as noticeable. It just needs to be sort of a black and white, and when you'll see once we start bringing in the color in these front leaves, it will start looking really good and the background's not as critical. So we'll leave those settings like that for now. Now, as we talked before about layer masks, this mask right here, it's white, and it is allowing the adjustment layer to affect the whole picture. If we go on to this layer mask here and start painting the opposite of white, which is black, it will allow the color from this picture here to come through to here. Now I'll just show you what I mean, and then you sort of get an idea. So we'll go over here to our color palettes. We have black and white as our defaults. You can click this button here to switch them. Just change it to white and there, or the shortcut key is X. And you'll find using the shortcut key X will be great in a few minutes, and you'll see why. So you can just hit X and that will change it. So right now we have over here we have the layer mask is white, so that's allowing the adjustment layer to affect the whole picture. So we're going to go into this layer mask, make sure you click it, you see the little border around here, and then we're going to select a paintbrush. So I've got the paintbrush here. We want the size we can adjust in a moment. I'll show you how to do that. The opacity and flow we want is 100%. We don't want to, you can experiment with that also. I mean, that will do a sort of a half grayscale somewhere in the middle, so it allows some of the color through. For me, the leaves sort of a dull brown, and I just want to bring the whole color through. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick paint job here, and you can see what I'm talking about. So now I'm just starting to paint. So you can see right away what's happening. If you look over here, you see a little bit of black. That is disabling the adjustment layer and allowing the color of this to come through. So for example, if I turn that off, everything disappears. Okay. So as we paint black, that allows the color through. Now, if you make a mistake, no problem. Hit the shortcut key to go to white, paint white, and it disappears. And that's where you'll end up. You'll see where you'll end up needing to use, just a sec here, there we go, where you'll be using the shortcut key quite a bit, trying to, going back and forth. Okay, so now the paintbrush is fairly large, so what we're using, the way to reduce that with the shortcut key also is the square brackets just above the return key on the right hand side. If you push the left one, that will reduce the brush. Push the right one, that increases it. So what I'm going to do is reduce it down. Now I'm going to hit Command or Apple on a Mac plus, and that will zoom us in nice and close. So now we're nice and close. Another shortcut key is if you hold the space bar, you see the hand shows up now. holding the space bar. I'm using a graphics tablet, so I push my pen down and I'm able to move the picture over, and I'm just going to move this out of the way here. There we go. So now you can see we have a much better view here. So I'm going to go like this, and as you can see, I'm just taking away some of the color. The brush is still pretty big, so I'm going to even reduce that a bit more. And I'm going to go right into there, like this. And there you go. You can see how we're doing. Now I'm going to go back to the black and color in. Now I just went over again like that, hit X, and you can just remove it like that. So you can come into here. Now I use a graphics tablet and a pen. My training is in drawing and painting, so I'm very comfortable using a pencil and paintbrushes. So for me, this is fine. You can use a mouse. I know a lot of people that use a mouse and always have, and they're very comfortable with that. That's fine. I'd recommend trying to learn how to use a graphics tablet because it is a lot more versatile once you sort of get the how to use it properly. It's much easier to do it, but a mouse is fine too, especially if you're just starting out and you want to keep your expenses down, as we've talked about the type of equipment you need. Hold off on a graphics tablet and just go with the mouse for a while. You might find out it's fine, and then once you start making some money with all your photographs and everything, maybe that's an investment that you can look into in a little while. I would suggest getting a fairly good size graphics tablet. Mine's an A4, which is sort of a middle of the road. Obviously the bigger the better, so it's a little bit easier to go. So anyway, as you can see, we're just coloring all this in here, and I'm just going to do just a little bit more, and I won't bother wasting the whole video watching me paint, but you can sort of get the idea. You just go back and forth with the X key for the black and white, push the space bar in to move around. So we're just going to move down here. Now what I'm going to do is, you could have the stem here color, but for me, I'm going to leave that as the black and white, and I'm just going to bring the leaves in. There we go. And you'll see in a second, I've got the finished product here on the other layer mask, how dramatic it looks, and it looks really neat. So you've just taken a color picture, and this is the one that we took in my backyard when we were walking around with the video camera, and make it into something really, really neat. So what we'll do is, I've already got it finished, so you get the idea there. I'm going to back up, and we'll move this down so we can see it in the video capture screen. Now I'm going to disable this layer mask that we started, and there we're back to the color, and here's the finished product. And as you can see, that totally changes the look of the picture, and I think that looks a lot better than the color. The color's not bad, I don't mind it, but I think that looks really neat. And